Oh, my friends, let's have some fun with this Bitcoin technical analysis today. Of course, we're going to be diving into the charts. I will be letting you know what I am looking at next. Are we looking for another brand new all-time high, or what's that? Come on, that failed auction a little bit too much for the market. What can I say? That was a massive, eventful 24 hours. Starting off, of course, with breaking above $100,000. The euphoria was max, right? The $100,000 parties, everybody live streaming, super happy about 100K. And I mean, it was a big achievement. I don't blame them for celebrating, right? But the euphoria was real. Me making a video yesterday saying about a Bitcoin short off of a failed auction. Wow, I've never had so many people saying, how dare I mention shorts? We're above 100K. This is ridiculous. You're going to get so many people wrecked. What you on about? We're not dropping. It's only up from here type vibes. And well, that's what happens with that massive euphoria. We'll look at the order flow and some early warning signs after we got that failed auction and a massive move to the downside all the way towards $90,000. Ending though in a bullish swing failure pattern for another big move to the upside. Not quite breaking new all-time highs, but could be over the next few days. I'll let you know my opinion in this video. But what I want to just end by saying here before we move over to the charts is the importance of a plan. If you are prepared for such big moves, you can take advantage and profit off of such big moves, right? This is why I love what I do. Trading Bitcoin. It is my passion. This is what I do every single day of the year. I don't need to be here for the money. I have completed every monetary goal possible, but I'm here for the love of the game. I genuinely enjoy what I'm doing here. Trading Bitcoin, of course, helping with the Chart Champions community. That is a big point in my life. But, just waking up every day to these volatile charts. So I don't want to get involved in the futures. I've got everything I need with the Bitcoin. And, wow, here's for another 10 years in front of the charts. But I mean, let's bring it over to the charts then, shall we? Let's just remind ourselves what actually happened with that failed auction. Actually, I want to take a step back. Of course, I asked how many of you wanted this. I'm running out of time here. I've had maximum really 20 minutes. So let's really hope that this video is a little bit of a quicker one. But yeah, I asked how many people wanted this. So many people keen for the analysis. So of course, I'm going to be giving it to you in this video. A real nice professional analysis as always for you all here. But yeah, thanks for the support, everyone. It is always appreciated and nice to know I'm helping you out here. But I want to start off, before I go over of course, a really big win of the failed auction. I think it's only right, and this is what we do here at Chart Champions, keep it transparent and honest. I actually want to start off with talking you through a losing trade that I took prior to getting that failed auction short. And that was actually a long trade opportunity that I saw from this mini range. This was our mini range of the day. And I recognized, well, okay, we can look for a little bit of a fake out of that range low. And, for me, that gives a relatively small risk. And I ended up taking that long. So this was around 5:30 UK time. So you can see there's no delay on the posts here, a few minutes. And I'm telling my team, that's a long trade entry here for me on Bitcoin. The stop loss, so the risk, the stop loss is placed below the low, which from entry to the low is just 0.3%. So very low risk trade. And again, we are in a bull market. I've never denied that. So, longing this type of thing in a bull market is a nice trade. But it's ended in a losing trade. It started off nicely, started to get a little bit of a bounce to the upside, took about an hour, but we started to get a little bit of a bounce to the upside. You can see this making its way up. It was in a little bit of profits, but then this is why you need to pay attention to the correlated markets, because we started to see the NQ, ES pull back, and they wanted to ruin Bitcoin. It did ruin Bitcoin. And our stop loss was hit on that trade, in it for about an hour. But yeah, I took a little bit of a loss on that trade in the end. Didn't hit any of my take profits. And, I took a relatively small loss, but nevertheless, still a few $100 losing trade by attempting to long the mini range low. That didn't work out in the end. And what happened next? Well, we go on to get the bigger failed auction. So I took the loss on that long. It was fine. We made our way down. And this is where we got the acceptance into what was the legendary short trade for the failed auction. Okay, so this did end in a winning trade. I did actually lock in an epic take profit and got stopped on the rest. But yeah, let's go over this because I've got a lot to teach you here. Of course, first of all, why was this failed auction so big, so massive, so violently epic to the downside, wiping out hundreds and millions of longs, big liquidations? Why did this happen? Well, the warning signs were there, right? The open interest that we saw above $100,000 was crazy. $375 million candle bringing us above the high with 87 million positive delta new longs during the continuation of this rate, and it actually continued a little bit longer. This was a print screen that I shared to the group at 11 a.m. So over the next few hours, we saw even more longs opening. But you can see here, I mean, simply there's another 48 million longs, 72 million, 18 million, 49 million, 25 million, 61 million, 9.7 million. These are all on open interest increases. This is high positive delta. And that, my friends, is bearish CVD divergences. Lower highs on the chart, higher highs on the CVD, fueled with open interest increases, high positive delta. That shows you bigger players sat with limit order shorts. You know, and we can only say retail traders longing into the smart money shorts there. In their FOMO, in their euphoria, you know, people waiting for the 100K breakout to finally buy, they buy it into smart money shorts. It's there when the CVD there, the bearish divergences. And we all know what happens next. We got the confirmation of our failed auction, and that is where myself personally, I did take a short trade. Failed auction confirmed, yes. So you can see here around 8 p.m. confirming to my team I took that short trade. And you had a good hour to actually enter this short, by the way. You can see as we start to break down around 8 p.m. UK time. We didn't get that big breakdown until about 2.5 hours later, around 10:30 p.m. UK time. So there's plenty of time, to be fair, to enter into that short trade. Some people, you know, bantering me that I'm going to be short in the lows. Didn't end well indeed, but it's all fun and games. I already know that. But, you know, it's one of those things, right? Is the failed auction going to be a good one? It's too early to tell. Of course, at 8 p.m. when I'm taking that short, it was too early to tell. Started to make a bit of profits, but you know, this is where you have to, you know, like I've been saying, the importance of a plan, right? So this was the plan. Well, I did share the failed auction trade setup here on YouTube, right? I talked you through it. But of course, naturally, there's always going to be more in depth in the membership for the champions. And, you know, we were expecting a little bit of chop around this area, but we had to hold strong. As soon as we got the acceptance into the range, but most importantly, losing the daily open and the previous range value area high. That for me was the massive sign of weakness that we needed to have the confidence. You know, you can't just, like we say at Chart Champions, plan the trades. All right, we're very much planned for the trade. Then you got to trade the plan, taking the short on the failed auction, right? You don't want to plan the trade, get too scared to take the trade. And what you definitely don't want to do is plan or not even plan a trade, right? If you're not planned for anything, you're just going to get wrecked left, right, and center time and time again. So we had our plan set out. We had the failed auction. We saw that. And again, it went sideways for a few hours here, but no reason to close that short, of course. As there's no strength, there's no reclaim of the previous highs here. It's just a little bit of a chop. And yeah, what happened next was outstanding. But it was a level that I want to say this very honestly, we were prepared for the bounce. So I think you can say shorting the failed auction was one thing. You know, I think it was, I don't want to boost my own horn, but I think you might think that it was a fairly impressive short trade. But on top of getting the short there, look at where we were looking for the take profits in the morning. We have actually been talking about this level since, you know, in this section of the chart at the end of December. We were always so focused on taking out this low because of the liquidity that was below it. Of course, the monthly naked point of control and the daily, they're strong levels. That's why you can look for the take profit there, right? But this on what was a previous point of control of this section and now the previous range value area low, right? The short was a big focus on the acceptance into previous range value area high. Target is previous range value area low. So of course you can see it in the team. Waiting for, you know, people waiting for around that $90,000, $91,000 to try the long trade. Okay, value area and daily tapped. So I'm guessing aiming for the point of control, right? People when they're learning, Okay, with the massive open interest increases, open interest is too high. You can see this is just champion members inside of the community. You know, it's a real big family feel because we want people to succeed. And even in the massive euphoria, right, we're still very focused on the charts, giving like nice technical analysis. And this guy talking about his friend that bought above 103k. You know, that's type of the euphoria that we want to see there, right? And so we recognize that this is the area for the new long trade. Okay, that was a target that we were looking at from lower in the morning. So we planned for the failed auction and we knew where this major level was. Why? Because the outcome that we can be looking for off of this, I actually want you to just listen here carefully as I talk it through the champion members in the daily morning update. This is just 10 seconds, but just pay attention a second. But of course, with the failed auction, we would like to see that lose the trend line, losing that point of control. And that's where we can get, of course, a move down to value area low, where we can get another move to the upside. So this is what we're talking about. This is where I like the subtitles as well, because yes, all the sub, yeah. Okay, sometimes I mute myself and forget to unmute. Yeah, it's all working. But you know, there's a few. You can see the steps that are involved in here. In the end, this was you all saw it, right? The big liquidation to the downside. There was no reaction at the point of control at all. Neither the trend line, by the way. It was just a straight wick through. But you know, it was aware of this scenario, straight wick, straight down through to the downside. Why? Because of all that open interest that had formed up here. We ended up getting this just directly to the downside. But you see the area that we bounced off of is undeniably a level that we were ready and waiting for. Understanding it's an important take profit. And other people even ready with their long trades around this level. So it's because, you know, you come down to such an inflection point. At the end of the day, it is still a bull market. Again, like I was saying in yesterday's video, even on YouTube, right? I'm not scared to take shorts, okay? As I took my short yesterday, and, you know, that was a very profitable trade in the end. That was still at 8:30 p.m. We were racking up $1,000 in 10 minutes. So you can only imagine how much this ended in. But nevertheless, I did lock in a wonderful, epic take profit off of the value area low of the range. I knew my reasons of entry. Failed auction acceptance into the previous range value area high. I had my take profit set at the low. I wasn't expecting it, to be fair, to hit in a matter of minutes with that massive wick to the downside, but hey, I wasn't complaining. And that was just the most bullish swing failure pattern reaction that you've ever seen. But this isn't like a one-off. I have seen this in prior bull markets, massive moves to the downside, quick moves to the downside, instantly bought back up, full round reversal. So, you know, this is something that you get through experience of trading bull markets after bull markets after bull markets, right? This is not my first rodeo. I've traded in this a lot, right? So not just on Bitcoin, but across the stock market too. You more so on Bitcoin, you do get these big liquidation moves to the downside into quick reversals. So you have to play it a little bit sensibly where you take profits, right? Because otherwise, you know, before you know it, you're already above your entry, right? So you have to be a little bit careful, but yeah, we came down to the value area low, ending in a swing failure pattern. And yeah, we did get this full-on reversal to the downside. But I want you to pay attention just to what I was saying there, because I want to share these insights. I do think you can learn from it. And you can actually see we have the subtitles on our videos now. These are the subtitles of what I was saying. So you can see I was mentioning about the daily open lining up with that previous range value area high, of the importance of that previous range value area high, acceptance into the range and daily open. We lose that, it really does confirm the failed auction. Again, upon getting that confirmation around 8 p.m. UK time, I was confirming to my team about taking that short trade. But on top of that, upon getting that failed auction, you know, we have to understand we would like to see, of course, that trend line and point of control loss, and that's where we're going to get a move down to the value area low, where we can get another move to the upside. You know, those are my exact words, right? This is not hindsight. This is not, I don't know what you want to call it, other than nice technical analysis. We knew the reasons, we took the shorts, and we knew that when we hit this value area low, we can get that next move to the upside. Price actually here moved down to the exact low, and we got the reversal at the exact area that we were ready and waiting for on that monthly naked point of control daily value area low zone. It was the reason of the entry of the failed auction. It was the reason of the major take profits at the lows. I mean, and then that reversal has been absolutely outstanding. But there's one other thing that I want to share with you here before I tell you what I'm looking at next. How long are we doing on time? I have about 10 minutes. So And that's where we bounced off of. And if you've been watching the videos, you will know this. Okay, this is not going to be anything new. I want to know how many of you are watching. I'm going to ask you to pause the video in a second, but I'm going to ask you a question first. What is the number one tool that I have been using over recent months? Is it Fibonacci's? Is it Elliott waves? Okay, is it our Gann fans? Is it our speed fans? Is it the pitchforks? Or is it the anchored VWAPs? You know, what tool have I been telling you is the best, most powerful tool in cryptocurrency trading right now? I hope that you can remember, because this tool timed the exact dollar low. Have a guess who had some take profits around that level? My friends, the number one level, VWAP, of course it was. VWAP hit to the absolute dollar. This is a 15-minute chart view, and I will add it on for you here just so you can see the power of this. That, my friends, is an absolute dollar from the latest impulse to the upside, uptrend anchored VWAP hit to the absolute dollar. Come on. If you are not paying attention, you're missing out. I'm just telling you that you are missing out on epic profits, epic trades. You could have longed the anchored VWAP of the uptrend and timed the low to the exact dollar, longing around 90,500 for a crazy massive next move to the upside. Just as there were shorts from the failed auction, there are longs from support. My friends, it was crazy. And this is a tool that if you listen to my videos, you know very much about. I've been telling you it is the most powerful tool in the world, and there is a reason behind that, because I run the statistics and it is simply the best. It is the anchored VWAP, and it held us up to the exact dollar for this wonderful bounce to the upside. Just look at that. Swing failure pattern onto our levels, and yes, I mean, swing failure pattern, monthly naked point of control daily, but the number one here, the anchored VWAP, I mean, what can we say? Absolutely outstanding to see the respect of that level. You love to see it, you really do. So yeah, with that said, that's obviously given this crazy lovely bounce to the upside. What a shout out to the anchored VWAP. Just look at that. Come on, my friends. And now, so what are we looking at next? If you do not already know, I am out of the short trades, by the way. So I am out of the short from the failed auction. That ended in a very nice, profitable trade. So I want to explain what we're looking at next. Okay, I am still in long trades, by the way. But what am I looking at next? So I think that we've got a few key levels to be aware of, and this is for very low-term time frame traders. First thing that we can be aware of is this trend line, which we are currently at right now. So this is just to highlight a trend line resistance. And another level that I'd be aware of, again, for lower term time frame traders, is a very mini range point of control, which you can see comes in there around 102. I actually want to take this back one candle and move this over one as well. And let me just check something here. Yeah, fair enough. So that's around $102,000. So that actually lines up very nicely with this trend line. So you can see for a lower term time frame scenario that you can be aware of this trend line as resistance. Of course, a bullish scenario is reclaim that trend line, flip it to support, and then you got a very nice move to the all-time highs. But of course, you are at a local resistance here with a trend line, and so you do want to see what I would say. You know, the importance of this is I wouldn't long here at $101,000. You are longing into a bit of a POC resistance into a trend line. It's not the best idea. I mean, you can do whatever you want. This is not financial advice. I'm just giving you some education. I personally would refrain from longing into this resistance. If you are super keen on a long, you could at least wait for the reclaim and get above that level. But yeah, longing below it, you know, you're longing into the resistance. If you get a reclaim, at least it's back into support. For a little bit of, you could call it a bump and run. But yeah, just I wanted to make you aware of that trend line that you're at right now. Okay. So a few things that you can be aware of, right? Uptrend anchored VWAP. So just like we bounced off of the bigger uptrend anchored VWAP from the overall last impulse low to the dollar, you can of course pull that again now from the low. Make sure it's actually on the low. Okay, and you can be aware of this uptrend anchor VWAP for a support level that is 97,700. And I think at this point, of course, you got to, and I mean this, right? As a trader, and I've always will say this, right? We do not know with 100% certainty where price is going. It might seem like it, but we do not know. All we can do is use probabilistic outcomes, right? We're looking for high probabilities. I will always look for high probability shorts, and I will always look for high probability longs. So when I do my updates every single day on live stream or in the Discord, right, I will give areas where I'm looking for a long, and which is always on a drop. I will only long on drops. And I will give areas where I'm looking for a short, and that's always at resistances. Okay. Although yesterday was a time where I shorted with the weakness again, and that's kind of trading with a very local trend, recognizing the order flow was, a very big important factor, leaving all those hundreds of millions of trap longs. So there I'm trading with the strength, which is not an often trade that I will take, but when it's time, it's time, and you all saw the massive drop to the downside. So when I take those trades, it ended out well, but it could have not, right? So what I'm saying here is, as a trader, some people, kind of are confused and do not like, oh, Daniel, you're saying the market could go up or down. You're giving a long and a short, tell us exactly what's going to happen. I'm not ever going to do that because there's no way of knowing exactly what's going to happen. All we can do is prepare ourselves for high probability longs and short trades. Of course, in the bull market, the long trade is a higher probability. And that's why, if you're longing the dips in a bull market, that arguably is the better trade. I agree with that, by the way. That is what I would say. So of course you have this little bit of the trend line on the point of control here for a minor resistance. And then I would say if you get the reclaim of that, it is really going back into blue sky breakout territory. If we get the reclaim of that trend line, okay, and again, this is an if, then that's where you would be then saying, okay, it's reclaimed a trend line, it's reclaimed that previous range point of control, it can absolutely look for brand new all-time highs. And, we've already just seen a massive fake out to the downside. If we do get this move to the upside once again, I do believe we can push $110,000, $120,000, $130,000. It's well within realistic expectations. Okay, there's not a lot of resistance above us. So, that's something that I would bear in mind, right? If you have your longs, you can just trail up stop losses. You don't need to have them super tight. Give yourself room to breathe, within these market conditions. Again, I would not long into trend line resistance. So if I wouldn't long into trend line resistance, it means you got to wait for a pullback. Again, this is a scenario where let's say we just do this and we blast straight up. Well, then you miss a long here locally. If you're waiting for a local pullback and it just blasts straight up, you miss the long. But I would always say it's better to miss a trade than take a bad trade. I would class definitely longing here a bad long trade. Okay, you have an acceptable short, you don't have an acceptable long, right? So it's a little bit of a difficult situation, I know, for a lot of people because they're so eager to always get in long trades. But, I would say you're going to have to wait for a pullback. If it doesn't come now, well, there will be a pullback at some point, right? Well, there was yesterday, right? So you had a pullback yesterday. So I'm talking about new long trades if you didn't long any of this massive opportunity of yesterday, right? Well, then I would say, yeah, the uptrend of the anchored VWAP coming into around 97,700. This is a decent long trade opportunity. And this is where you have to remain patient, right? You have to remain patient. Other than that, I would say, yeah, I think you have the trend line, but then, yeah, if we break above this, again, I'm looking at $110,000, $20,000, $30,000. I think we can get a very large move to the upside. I think it's going to be very key what happens at the weekend because I know this is going to be my final bit of alpha for you, going to have another CME gap, by the way. Let's just say that we might not have the CME gap. There's no guarantees, but it's likely we get a nice move on the weekend, right? So you will have that CME gap. The CME actually closes in 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, in around 3.5-ish, 4 hours time. 11:30 GMT, we get the close. Let me just confirm this. We get our close today at... Yes, 11:30 UK time, sorry. So 11:30 UK time. So we got a little bit of time left, but then it will close for the weekend. You can see here, 11:30 close. We reopen. Sorry, my bad. 9:30 close on a Friday, and we open at 11 p.m. on the Sunday. Sorry, I'm just confirming that details. So Friday, 9:30 UK time, the CME closes. The CME opens on the 11 p.m. UK time on Sunday. What does this mean? It means, let's say we close here. Let's say we're trading still here or at Friday at 9 o'clock today. Well, let's say during the weekend we get a big move to the upside. And on Sunday night, we are trading here at 11 p.m. That means we're going to get a massive, massive, massive gap to the upside. Okay? And that would actually be our continuation gap. We've already had our breakaway gap. Likewise, though, if we do get a big move to the downside during the weekend, you would have a big gap, okay, to the upside. So that's what I'm saying here. On the weekend is where you get the gap price action that's going to be forming. And you know, these gaps here, you saw a gap on the CME, they close. You do look for the closes. So just be aware of the CME gap. That's what I would say as well. If you are looking to trade the weekend, Sunday night, yeah, the CME is going to be a big one. So just be aware of that CME gap that we are probably going to get formed. Yeah, I mean, lots of volatility on the altcoins. So if you are, you know, a little bit patient on Bitcoin here, waiting for a trade setup, you've got plenty of opportunities galore on the altcoins. I will say shout out to Severin. He, of course, does his altcoin trading sessions. He had one yesterday. So if you want to catch some altcoin setups for 2 hours, this guy spent going through every altcoin that you can imagine. And some of those setups already playing out. He gave this long trade on Ethereum, and that came into entry, missing the stop loss for a long trade on Ethereum. Members able to, you know, this is why it's so great, right? It's not a signal, but we're able to give guidance and people able to profit on that. So it's lovely. That's what our aim is. We're not a signals group. We are here to give you education, give you some wonderful examples, you know, just ideas of the chart and teaching you about why they come along. What's with the all open interest? What were with those bearish divergences? Why was the failed auction such a quick move to the downside? Why do we reverse where we reverse from, right? Everything of this move is what we teach and is what our students have learned. Okay, Chart Champions is a trading community where we have traders from all over the world coming in here, putting in their best effort every single day, and it really has got that family feel. People want to see each other improve, want to see each other do well. So if you're interested in that, we got the live trading streams, right? We got the whole educational library, and of course the Discord for where we give some updates as well. So yeah, if you're interested in that, you can check us over at chartchampions.com. I really think you'll love your decision. And I hope that you have a wonderful weekend too. I will end by saying, whether you made some profits with us on this move or whether, unfortunately, you may be longed up at the highs, everything comes with a experience. And hopefully, whether it's positive or negative, you can understand, you can learn from it. Okay, so even if you took a big loss, write down, journal, what went wrong, what can you improve on, how are you going to make sure it doesn't happen next time. Life is a journey, right? Every day there's something new to learn. Every day we look to improve ourselves. Get that little 1% each and every day. I'm here to help you if you would like. All you need to do is listen closely to my videos. And I do believe I have, well, let's just say at least the wealth of experience behind me over now coming 14 years trading the markets. Yeah, I have done these markets time and time again, and it's with that experience how I can give such accurate trading calls. You might think I'm a wizard, but no, it's just simply mastering my craft. It's what I do, it's what I love, it's who I am. I'm a trader, we are Chart Champions, and we crush the markets. Cheers, everybody. I'll catch you in the next one. Thank you, and that's me signing out. Goodbye.